Hey y'all, it's Jessica here from Just Give Me Jesus, and today I am continuing in the 15 days of creativity that we have been talking about on Creative Faith and Friends podcast. If you have not listened and would like to join along, there will be a link in the show notes. Not show notes, that's the podcast. There'll be a link in the description below where you can go check out our Creative Faith and Friends podcast. But today's challenge is to use a book page. And this is not a you have to do it day by day. I just am. It's however you want to do it. You can pick this up 4 weeks from now if you'd like to. Anyway, I'm tearing out of an old little women's book that I have used for different things. And this is just a page that had a little residual paint on it from jelly printing or something like that. So I liked the colors and the way it looked. And I just pulled it out and I glued it down and am tearing around the sides of the page because I like that. Instead of cutting, I really like it if it has those little torn edges. And I'm using just a Dymo. So for my business, I have a Dymo sheet printer, label printer, and I'm using a backing to one of those as my underneath so that I don't get this everywhere, which I usually still do. So that's okay too, right? It doesn't matter. We just roll with it. Use it. So what I'm going to use now, this is a stencil. It is a Simple Stories Butterfly Fern stencil. I actually have some of these in my shop right now. But it's so pretty because it's got the little ferns and the butterflies. And I decided on the blank piece of page, which I think that bottom page is watercolor or mixed media paper. I'm not sure which, but one of those. And y'all, I was so terrible with this stamp pad. I got other inks on it, but it is what it is. Anyway, I thought that stencil pattern would be really pretty kind of in that blank space at the top left of the page. So I'm just going to use my ink dauber thingy, whatever that is, foam pad, to transfer that onto the stencil. And this is Distress Oxide stamp pad in Kitsch Flamingo. Yes, Kitsch Flamingo. And it's actually probably got more colors mixed in because I don't use the same felt pad for the same colors. I just kind of make it whatever I'm working on it gets used for. But look at that. Isn't that so pretty? It looks like it's peeking out from behind that little book page. And now I'm going to try I'm going to dry it first with my heated craft tool, which is fantastic. If you heard the podcast, you've heard us talking about it. But now I'm going to try the Distress Micro Glaze, and I'm doing it as I saw Tim Holtz do on a video, and I'm doing that because I'm going to put some paint on top of this, and I don't want that to oxidize or to bleed. And this actually does really well for that. I come to find out I'm not a perfectionist with it, obviously. And I also really don't know what I'm doing with that, but I'm trying and I'm doing what he said to do. So I'm going to just kind of buff it off with an Old Baby wipe that's dry. I should probably use a paper towel, but there wasn't one around. So Old Baby wipe it was. And now I'm going to add some Distress paint in Speckled Egg. I love that color. Although, not going to lie, I'm pretty pumped about the new color that's coming out. Don't remember it. Patina something. Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. I've already ordered a little bit of it. So pretty. But the Speckled Egg is fantastic. And I'm just kind of putting that all over the page. I got that little scraper at Dollar Tree, and it's great. I really like it. Which I use, honestly, whatever I find around, whether it's a card or a scraper or a brush, just kind of whatever. And I sped this up because, let's just be honest. There's not a lot of fun in watching something dry and watching paint dry. Am I right? Okay, this stuff is so pretty. It's something that I found, and I don't remember how I heard about it. I probably should, but I don't. It's called Dragonfly Glaze, and it comes in different colors, but y'all, and you can't see it right here, it is such a pretty glitter topping. And this one has a little kind of bluish violet hue. It is gorgeous. And I thought I was going to be so smart and put this in the stencils. And it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't. So I'm actually not going to stick with this. But it's part of the process, right? This is just about, you can change things. You don't like it? Switch it up. I have included a video at the end of this video of my page outside so that you can hopefully see the sparkles that this has, because there's just no way to see it totally right here. And it stresses me when I'm scraping paint. I just never know how it's going in those little, I say it stresses me, I mean not like real stress. It's like I don't know if I'm doing it right. And I'm probably not. I don't know if there's a certain way you're supposed to do it or not. Maybe somebody knows and can tell me. Anyway, so they did show up, but because it was kind of a clear glitter, I was not a fan. So I was like, nah. Let me just spread that on out. Glitter pages are fantastic anyway, especially when you can see through them. They're transparent or clear, however you want to call it. And you can see what's underneath. And that's what this does. It's just a glaze on top so that you can see everything underneath. It just adds a little bit extra. So now I'm taking one of the I Am journal bits from Simple Stories. I also have some of these in my shop. I'll put the link in the description. And I actually don't end up staying with this one. But I really like it. It's so pretty. But it needed some inked edges, of course. But then, well, you'll see. It just doesn't work out the way I want it to. Y'all, I was determined to use that ticket. Like, determined to use that ticket. It's just, I love the look of that ticket. It's so pretty. But then I decided everything was covering up my ticket that I really like. It's a vintage ticket. And that little snapshot piece that looks like a little Polaroid floral frame is from Pink Paper Peppermints. I'll add a link for the kit in the descriptions. It's so pretty, but you're going to see something to do with it that's super neat. But that was just too much. It's all too big. Too much. So I decided to pull a smaller piece out from that same pack. I like this pack because it's got little pieces and bits that you can actually write on. So I was just kind of playing with a few. And this is, again, from my Phomemo Printer. Probably not saying that right. I printed out a picture of our podcast that we used to, let people know on social media about it. And I added it to that picture so it looks like a little pink picture of our podcast. And the whole idea of this is, our word this week is new. So my thought is, through this whole thing has been that this is such a new adventure. Obviously, I knew nothing about podcasts. Thankfully, Melissa did. I don't know anything about technology, at all. So all of this has been such a new adventure. And I have been so thankful that I listened to the stirring in my heart and prayed about it, and that God led us down this path, and that I said yes to a new adventure, because so often it's intimidating and I'm like, nobody really wants to hear what I have to say. Why would I do this? I mean, what good would that really do? And oh, y'all, it's been so much fun. And we've had the neatest comments and messages from people who have listened, and just super appreciative of those. They just make our hearts so happy to hear how people are listening and enjoying the podcast. So anyway, again, adding birch bark because it's my new favorite in all collages. It's just so pretty and flaky. I went and got some more yesterday from my mom's house because it's so pretty. And one of her trees is just flaking off. And I mean, that just doesn't need to go to waste, right? I don't pull it off the tree. Like, I don't cut the tree. It falls off. I did add a little lace to the bottom of that little snapshot because I know that a little journal bit is going to go on that bottom right-hand corner. And I love the idea of that little lace sticking through. And I'm liking how this is looking. But that needs some ink. So I'm using that Kitsch Flamingo just on the very edges around it. And then I decide, oh, it'll be pretty in the center too. Let me add some pink. So I put that there. But I want to write and remind myself that sometimes it's okay to say yes to new adventures. Do you have any new adventures that you've said yes to in your life lately that you feel like the Lord has led you in that path? If so, please leave me a comment so I can know what others are being led to do and how God is using you in different ways. And I'm just putting my pieces down after I did that initially. And I have to write this little bitty thing before I put it in my journal, or it will not go well. And y'all just knock stuff around all the time because my desk is a mess. That's when I use my best little bitty bits and pieces, is when my desk is a mess. So I'm just saying on this little piece, say yes to new adventures. And I'm going to add that there so that that's just kind of a sentimental little page about our podcast. And I'm liking how the page has turned out with the little stencil peeking behind and that book page there. And you can kind of see the pretty shiny and anyway, it's super pretty, but the link for all the products will be in the description below. And thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and let me know your thoughts.